If you are living with chronic symptoms, you know how scary they can feel, especially when they are so intense that they completely take over your life. Symptoms like these are terrifying, and when they show up day after day, it's easy to get frustrated and to feel betrayed by your own body. But here's the truth: I have learned this over and over again, both personally and with my clients. Symptoms are always protective, and it's only when we meet them with openness and curiosity that they start to reveal what they are actually protecting. Today's story is based on a powerful session I had recently with a client I'll call John. John is in his early 20s and he came to me with a challenging mix of long COVID, vaccine injury, and functional neurological disorder or FND. When John first came to work with me, his nervous system was so sensitized that almost anything could set it off. The sound of a pen dropping, the smell of food cooking, or even the subtle vibration from a phone or a smartwatch. Any one of these could trigger extreme symptoms including non epileptic seizures. John was completely housebound. He could not hold conversations, and in the beginning, we had to do short 15-minute sessions because that's all his nervous system could tolerate. I still remember one of our earliest sessions that he had to cancel because someone coughed near him, and that sound of coughing triggered a seizure episode. That's how sensitive his nervous system was. But over time, as we worked together, John began to improve. Gradually, the seizures started to reduce from multiple episodes a day to several weeks of no seizure. That's when a bittersweet situation came up. One of John's cousins came to visit, someone he's very close to, and hadn't seen since he got sick. John really wanted to meet him, but his body wasn't quite ready yet. And soon enough, he found himself in a painful inner tug of war. Do I push myself to connect socially, or do I listen to my body and admit that this seems too much right now? He described this inner conflict as kind of a torture, and soon after, violent, intrusive thoughts started showing up. Thoughts that disturbed him deeply and completely took over his headspace. Then came the migraines, days of unrelenting pain, and in the end, he wasn't able to meet his cousin. In our next session, we decided to gently explore these intrusive thoughts using parts work. This is what happened next. I invited John to approach the thoughts with openness and curiosity. Despite the intensity associated with these thoughts, he was able to do so. And as he focused on the thoughts, the first thing he noticed was a heaviness in his head. I asked him to simply witness it without trying to change it, resist it, or get frustrated with it. John stayed neutral, just watching the heaviness in his head. And then he said, I noticed sadness coming up. It feels heavy. I encouraged John to stay with the sadness without analyzing or trying to fix it. And then I asked him, what comes up as you focus on this sadness? John said, I understand why sadness has come up. I really wanted to meet my cousin. It's just one more thing to add to the list of things I cannot do anymore. One more thing this illness has taken away from me. I gave John a moment to feel the sadness and to hold space for it. That's when something remarkable happened. The sadness began to communicate, not with words, but through an image. John saw an eagle, and then he heard the words freedom and connection. John explained to me that the eagle symbolized strength, courage, and freedom. The sadness was communicating with him, showing him what it longed for. John began to tear up. I asked him, what's coming up for you right now? And he said, I feel grateful. These intrusive thoughts, they were protecting me. They kept me distracted all day. I didn't even realize I was sad. John was able to see the purpose of his protector part. He said a heartfelt thanks to his part, the intrusive thoughts, for keeping him safe and for helping him reconnect with a vulnerable part that was hiding, the sadness. By the end of this exercise, John felt lighter. His body felt grounded and calmer. We reframed the intrusive thoughts from scary and disturbing to protective and shielding. The intrusive thoughts were not the enemy. That was a protector part of John doing its best to keep the sadness from overwhelming him. And once that sadness was welcomed and witnessed, the protector part no longer needed to carry forward this role of protection. And I'm so excited and grateful to share. The intrusive thoughts completely stopped after this parts work session. Over the next couple of months, John kept building safety in his nervous system. And then, after 3 years of being sick, John was finally able to meet his cousin. Not just him, but also his family. And he talked to them for over 2 hours. Since then, he's also reconnected with other friends and family members. John's story is a powerful reminder. A sensitized nervous system does not have to be a life sentence. You can rewire your brain and change the state of your nervous system from danger to safety. And when that happens, your body's healing capabilities are unlocked. So, if you are struggling with scary, overwhelming symptoms, please know this. They are not here to punish you, they are here to protect you. And with the right tools and support, you can free them from their role of protection and thereby free your body from symptoms. And this is why I say over and over again remission is possible.